If you've been following my quest for a second passport, well, I hope you're subscribed to the channel with your notifications on because it looks like we're in for quite a long journey. So the big news here is that the law in Romania changed this week. It actually went into effect last Sunday with a new language requirement to be able to get citizenship in Romania. There's also another plot twist coming up, which is that I actually found out that I can get citizenship through a second country. So I'll let you know a bit about that later on in this video. But first, we have a lot to celebrate because this week I officially finished writing my second book, Moving Abroad for Dummies. So if you're looking for a step-by-step guide for how to move to another country, then I'll link to that below. And whew, it's been a journey in and on its own. I mean, writing a book is no joke. It's a lot of work. I've been working on this book since the end of 2023. So I'm really happy that it's finally finished. And yeah, you can pick up a copy below. Anyway, let's get into the status of this citizenship quest. So last we left off in the last video, I was evaluating a lot of different citizenship attorneys, and I haven't fully made that decision just yet, but there is one person that I'm thinking about very carefully, and he was actually recommended to me by some of our YouTube subscribers here. So I just want to thank everybody in the community who has offered tips and resources and historical insights as I go through this process. So I've read all of your comments on the last two Romania update videos, and I appreciate all of them moving forward. So continue to share what you know and provide any tips with me here. I really appreciate it. So where to begin, with the good news or the bad news? Well, the good news is that a representative from the Romanian consulate here in Miami called me this week, and we talked on the phone for about an hour. He gave me a lot of great information and pointed me in the right direction with what documents to get and what to do first. The bad news is that what he said conflicted with what the attorney told me, which I'll tell you about in just a second. But the summarized version from the consulate side is that they didn't note that the law had changed yet. So currently they're still proceeding with the former way of doing things, which would involve me collecting the documents now, submitting those documents through their website, and then I would need to go to an appointment in person, and then I would have up to 5 to 6 years until the passport could be approved, and then I would need to go back and go for an interview, which is recorded, where I would need to speak some basic Romanian, answer questions, talk a little bit about my ancestry. Authorities in Romania would see that video, and they would then assess if I could, speak Romanian well enough to be able to become a citizen. So that's the old way of doing things. I was a bit surprised at the timeline of 5 to 6 years because I haven't heard of it taking that long for anyone else. So hopefully it would be less than that. But the good news there is that I would have probably at least 2 or 3 years to be able to get to that conversational level of Romanian before that interview. So that's one route that I could do on my own. And he did give me the list of documents here, which I translated from Romanian. My passport, criminal record, civil status documents, so like birth certificate, marriage certificate, and all of these documents need to be apostilled with an official Romanian translation. I'll also need the same documents for my ancestors, so this would be for my grandmother and my mother in that case, and also my grandfather's naturalization record. So I have already sent out for all of the documents that I can. I went to the bank yesterday and I got cashier's checks to be able to send out for the remaining documents, which are coming from Ohio, from my family side there. So I think I'm good as far as those documents. I've sent out for them and just waiting for them to come back. But here's where things get complicated. So the lawyer with whom I had a consultation with this week told me that these changes are new and are going into effect now as of March 16th. They're also retroactive to current applications, and there will be like a 1-year grace period where you can continue to submit your application until you learn the language. But the big difference here is that instead of going from just conversational Romanian in the interview, it's now required to reach a B1 intermediate level of Romanian and pass a written exam to be able to become a citizen. So in the future, you'll have to learn Romanian before submitting the documents, but over the next year, I can still submit the documents and then learn Romanian. So herein lies the rub. If I submit my documents now, then I'm basically giving myself a hard deadline that I need to get to B1 level of Romanian within the next year and pass the exam before having my interview. You know, this is different from what the consulate said. I think either way, it's a good idea to learn Romanian as quickly as possible. But 1 year is a pretty tight timeline to be able to get to that level and pass the exam and sit for the interview. Now, I am fluent in Spanish, and if you follow me for a while, you know that my recommended way of learning a language, if you can do it, is an immersion program. So this means to travel to the country where you want to learn the language, take classes, either part-time or full-time, live with a host family, and really just spend a few months living in that culture, speaking the local language. It's a really fast way to learn compared to learning online from home, but I still do recommend apps and websites like Rosetta Stone, which you can find below. It's a very reasonable rate for like unlimited lifetime access to lots of different languages. So if you're unable to travel or invest in an immersion program and experience, then that is the second best way of doing things. But the big thing here is just making the decision. Whenever you have a big goal, it's really important to decide when you're going to do it, when you're going to start, and what you want your deadline to be to complete it, right? Because as we know, a task expands to fill the time that we give it. So if you give yourself 5 or 6 years to learn a language or 1 year to learn a language, that's how long it will take you to do it. So I have been considering this because I would like to live in Romania. I would like to travel there, experience the lifestyle there. I would like to learn. So I think that I could do it. I know I could do it. It's just a matter of, you know, dedicating the time and the money and the resources to being able to learn it. So what I did was I reached out to a few different institutions in Romania because this exam has to be through the University of Bucharest or the Romanian Institute of Culture. And so I reached out to them and got some information. I also reached out to a couple of language schools and immersion programs to see, you know, what are the different options that I have. This school that I heard from said if I want to just pass the exam, it could take 50 to 60 hours of focused preparation. But to officially get to like the B1 level, it could be 150 hours. So that, you know, considering it took me maybe 300 hours to write my book in 6 months, I mean, that doesn't seem that bad. I think I could do 150 hours over the course of the next year and be prepared for it. You know, obviously it's not going to be like, I won't be working on it 5 to 8 hours a day or anything crazy like that, but that seems reasonable, especially if they think I can pass the exam in 50 hours. And I could do a mix of online and in-person classes. So this to me is looking like the best option so far. The University of Bucharest said, you know, they have this 1-year diploma program called the Preparatory Year of Romanian Language, but I'm not really interested in going to university per se. I'd rather, you know, have a little bit of a hybrid program. And then the third option is the Romanian Institute of Culture, and they have classes that start, like, it looks like every quarter. So they had January classes starting in April, and then the next module starts in September, and then I'm guessing that it starts over again in January. So September would probably be the first one that I would be able to go to. And it does say that each module consists of 40 hours of courses. So to get A1, A2, B1, yeah, we're looking at, you know, pretty much what the language school said, like up to 150 hours of study to get to that B1 level. What I could do is start learning at home and then travel to Romania later this year and kind of work up to like a more of an intensive, immersive experience the closer I get to that March deadline, right? Because the worst thing that could happen would be to like go this summer and learn Romanian and then wait like a year or so for the interview and then forget it or something. So I want to make sure that I'm building up to that B2 level so that I'm at my peak language abilities for that exam, and then hopefully, of course, maintain those skills in the future. I have a hair. Now, the plot twist is that also in the past couple of weeks, I have received official confirmation from the Hungarian consulate in Coral Gables that I would also qualify for a Hungarian passport, which is very exciting. As many of you know, my grandfather had dual Hungarian and Romanian citizenship before becoming a US citizen, and also my great-grandparents had Hungarian citizenship as well. And it's also faster than getting Romanian citizenship, but there's a catch. So the Hungarian process could take 6 to 12 months to complete according to the information that I found online. But in this case, I would need to know Hungarian when I apply for the passport. So that basically means spend the next 1 to 2 years learning Hungarian, then collect the documents, then go present them at the consulate. So that's kind of inverted from the Romanian side, although if I wait a year for Romania, I will have to know the language before submitting my documents. So I really only have this 1 year to be able to submit the documents and then learn the language. Usually it's the other way around. So that does change things a bit. I mean, I could go for learning Hungarian first and then submitting the documents, and then while waiting for the Hungarian passport, then I could start with the Romanian language. But I mean, Hungarian seems like a much harder language to learn. I have a friend who speaks like 6 or 7 languages, and including Arabic and Mandarin, and like languages that are much different from, you know, Romance languages. And she told me that Hungarian was really hard for her and to go for Romanian first. So I think that's what I'll do. It's tempting though, but I don't know, just the pronunciation in Hungarian. I have been there before with my mom and it looks really tough. So I think that I will start with Romanian, and then once I get that and I have the passport, then, you know, I can take more time to learn Hungarian when it's not as much of a deadline. This is definitely something I want to do. It's just a matter of deciding whether I want to do it this year or first learn the language and then apply after that. So what do you think I should do? Let me know in the comments below. If you missed any other of the Romania update videos, I will link to those here. And if you'd like to pick up a copy of my book or get some relocation consulting from me, then I'll leave the links below.